Man, forget Mason Miller. I'm riding with Clay Holmes. Hey, gang. Hope you're all doing well. What's going on? So the Yankees have an afternoon game against the Twins, and I have this afternoon's lineup for you, which I'll get for you in a second. I want to talk about, Mason Miller. He's right now, he's kind of the flavor of the month that a lot of fans and content creators are talking about, right? And there's been an ungodly amount of hype levied upon him. Just like guys like Roki Sasaki from Japan, they were riding the hype machine a few months ago, right? So, and hype is fine. He's a good player, but I asked a consistent question about why is Roki Sasaki getting so much hype, and I asked the same question about Mason Miller, and I get the same response from everybody. He throws 102 to 103. That's it. There's dozens of guys in the majors who throw 102 to 103. Yes, he has movement, which is important, but he's also missed 3 months last year with a shoulder problem. He's had a UCL injury as well, so his arm could be a ticking time bomb. And I'm not saying it is, but I am also a creature for habit and a fan of loyalty too. And since Clay Holmes has come here, he's had a sub-3 ERA every season that he's been here, and this year he's got a 0.000 ERA. Okay, he's turning into one of the best closers in baseball, super duper elite, and I don't want to mess with that. And I understand the desire to get somebody like Mason Miller. I totally get it. But I don't want to replace Clay Holmes. I want to complement him and add to the bullpen, whether it be someone like a Garrett Crochet or someone last night that we talked about, Ryan Helsley, right? He's the closer for St. Louis Cardinals. There's the Cardinals may start to become sellers again for the second consecutive year. The White Sox are likely going to sell off a lot of pieces. And if the Yankees can get either one of those guys to complement Holmes in the bullpen, it would cost a heck of a lot less than it would Mason Miller. I mean, I'm very confident the ask is going to be either Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones, as well as other pieces for Mason Miller. That is a total hard pass for me. Total hard pass for me. For a closer, even I say he's got 5 or 6 years of control. I get it. And he's 25. Yes, he has a lot of things working in his favor. Totally understand that. Okay. But with that said, he doesn't represent a dire need for the Yankees. And I think there are other teams that are more willing to overpay for him than the Yankees. Teams like the Padres, who haven't replaced Josh Hader. Teams like the Orioles, who brought in Craig Kimbrell because their closer Batista had Tommy John surgery, but they lose Craig Kimbrell after this year, and Batista's going to need to come back from Tommy John. You don't know how well he's going to be. And they've got the number one farm in the game. So they have in a better position to overpay for somebody like Mason Miller. But on the flip side, too, on the second flip side, the A's might want to keep Mason Miller because when they move to Las Vegas, they want to have some players that people are excited about coming to see, which is why the ask is going to be through the roof. Why would they expect anything less than a Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez, which would excite A's fans most likely in Vegas? Why would they expect less? And somebody and Bleacher Report put out yesterday, Chase Hampton and Everson Pereira, and I think who was the other one? Roderick Arias. That's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it, unfortunately. I think the A's are going to be shooting for the sky. They really, really are. Shooting for the stars and hopefully landing in the sky. But you let me know what your thoughts are. I mean, if you're a baseball fan, if you're a Yankee fan, you're not subbed to this channel, make sure to do that before you leave, okay? Please hit the notification button too. That way you not only know when I go live, you can join in the party, in the conversation. Love to get your feedback, whether you agree or disagree. It still makes the channel better, and I appreciate it. But hit the notification too. That way when I put out stuff like this, you know exactly when it comes out. And you'll always be at the forefront of the line when it comes out. So, and I thank you so much for it. We're knocking on the door of 21,000 subs. So your support means the world, and I thank you for it. Now, let's get to today's lineup, okay, against the Twins. Game 3, they've already won the first 2. Anthony Volpe's leading off at shortstop. Juan Soto's batting second in right field. Judge with the half day today, batting third at DH. Alex Verdugo cleaning up in left field. Gleyber Torres batting fifth in second base. His bat's starting to heat up a little bit, which is good. Anthony Rizzo's batting sixth at first base. Austin Wells at the dish, batting seventh. And the Yankees are getting good production out of their catchers. Really are. John Birdie is in there, batting eighth, third base, replacing Oswaldo Cabrera. I understand Birdie's a little bit of a better defender, so they want to continue to get consistency out of him because he is a legitimate threat in stolen bases, and he does have he has some pretty good skill sets and tangibles. So I'm not surprised he's in there. 8th, third base, and then Trent Grisham is playing center field today, replacing Judge in the outfield. So Judge is back still in the lineup, but we still have the elite glove of Trent Grisham batting 9th in center field. And on the hill, toeing the slab, Clark Schmidt. Okay, looking for that next step, consistency for him, right? He's done a good job, and I'm looking to see how well he can get through the lineup for a third time with consistency and productivity too. So I'm impressed with what the Yankees have turned Luke Weaver into, and Caleb Ferguson definitely had a better game yesterday after a couple of rough games. So that's an encouraging sign too. But I would expect that, Clark Schmidt to hopefully go 6 innings today and then use some of the other bullpen weapons that they have here as well. But again, going back to the bullpen, Mason Miller would be an exciting piece, but he's not in need for the Yankees. I would do a hard pass on Mason Miller. All due respect to him, he's an exciting young player. He's a beast, but I worry about his arm and his shoulder. I would hate him to be, I'll find out later on in the year, Mason Miller's out and he's going to have Tommy John. We already dealt with that with Luke Trevino. We dealt with that with Scott Efros, okay, as well as a bunch of other guys in the last couple of years with Tommy John. Jason Dominguez. We have enough Tommy John cases here. We don't need another one. So, and I would ride with Clay Holmes. I think the Yankees would be wise to. It would probably cost $10 or $12 million a year, something like that. But I think he'd be worth it at this point. He's come into his own as closer of the Yankees, and he pitches to contact. Much to the frustration of a lot of fans. He's not a huge strikeout guy, but neither was Mariano Rivera. He pitched to contact too, and he's the greatest of all time, hands down. Billy Wagner was the power guy, the strikeout guy. He's one of the best ever, but not better than Rivera. Clay Holmes is proving his mettle every time out. He's got movement on his pitches, and he's consistent. He's a bulldog on there, and he's representative of this bulldog Yankees team, which is why I'm so excited that they have Verdugo here and Marcus Stroman, right, and Juan Soto. You got the dogs here, right, the horses. To me, Verdugo and Stroman represent the horses. Juan Soto was the thoroughbred. He's the superstar. But the Yankees needed all three of these guys to change the look and the feel of this team, and that's exactly what they've done. So what they do moving forward, it has to be the right fit. And I don't know. This may say that. Don't know. Clay Holmes, we know is the right fit here, so I don't want to mess with the Clay Holmes dynamic. Just like I don't want to mess with the Alex Verdugo dynamic, which is why I would not rush Jason Dominguez back and throw off the dynamic that we have in the outfield either. It doesn't make any sense to. It's not fair. So, but who cares about fair, right? Not many people care about fair. A lot of people like the flavor of the month, the exciting play, which is why a lot of folks wanted us to get Josh Hader. He's not doing that great in Houston. So we don't need that's what I mean. The Yankees don't need those guys at every position. They need the right fits at every position. So that's for the reason. That's why I pass on Mason Miller. All due respect to him. Okay, and that's why I'm sticking with Clay Holmes. And again, they can get him on a deal. Keep in mind too. Tonkin's likely not coming back. Caleb Ferguson's likely not coming back. Right. There's some other guys that might be moved too. And when Garrett Cole comes back, there's going to be another pitching move that has to happen. So does a starter go into long relief? Does the starter get traded? Do they need to add another relief piece? There's a lot of decisions that the Yankees are going to have to make over the next month or two. Now, they're in an enviable position, but I don't envy the decisions that they have to make. And I just mentioned this on NFE's on the Strike Zone, live stream too, that reminds me of the decision when they traded David Wells to the Blue Jays for Roger Clemens after he threw a perfect game. Not only was Wells devastated, a lot of fans were devastated, right? They hated that trade, but Clemens endeared himself. He helped them win 2 rings. So it worked out, but they had to give up a very valuable piece to get, a 7-time Cy Young Award winner. That just had to be that way. So, and just like moving Mason Miller would have to cost a ton. Trading him for Garrett Crochet or even Ryan Helsley would cost a fair amount, but it would not cost as much as Mason Miller. And they can get comparable value and add value to the bullpen. I'm all for it. But you let me know what you think either way, gang. I want to know what what your thoughts are. Would you move Mason Miller? And who would you move him for? Is the question too. And why? Why? That's the other question I have. Let's get into it. Go Yankees.